One of the greatest misconceptions about marriage is that strong couples don't drift. But after counseling Christian couples in ministry for years, I've learned something very different. Strong couples can also experience silent drift. Committed couples, godly couples, faithful couples, couples who genuinely love one another. But you see, this is because silent drift is not always about lack of love. It is more about the lack of intentional protection. So let's talk about why. Hello, I'm Joan, a certified marriage counselor and family therapist. I help Christian couples in ministry build rhythms that protect companionship from the quiet effects of ministry pressure. This month, we've been talking about understanding silent drift in ministry marriages. We've explained what silent drift is. We've also explored the signs of emotional erosion. Today, I want to answer a very important question. Why do strong couples still experience drift? Because understanding the causes helps us protect our marriages with greater wisdom and intentionality. So let's dive right in. 1. Ministry pressure is real. Ministry carries responsibilities that people never see. There are sermons to prepare, there are people to train, there are people to counsel, families to support, there are crises to respond to, spiritual burdens to carry. And often these needs and crises don't arrive conveniently. They don't make appointments, they don't schedule themselves that, hey, on this day, at this time, this crisis is going to happen. They just come up, and it can really be draining. See, ministry can be very deeply fulfilling, but it can also be emotionally demanding. It can be emotionally demanding. And you see, the pressure itself is not the problem. The problem comes when the pressure continually receives our attention while our marriage continually receives the leftovers of our emotional energy. That is where the real problem is. You see, Galatians 6:2, we are admonished to carry each other's burdens. By so doing, we are fulfilling the law of Christ. We are called to help carry the burdens of others. And in so doing, sometimes we forget that our spouse also has a burden that we need to carry. And we end up neglecting that at the expense of carrying the burden of others outside. And it's not supposed to be like that. Both requires our attention, and there's a need for a good balance. It is so important. 2. Strong couples often carry too much responsibility. Many couples in ministry are highly responsible people. That is actually one of the reasons why God entrusts leadership to them. They are deeply responsible people. They care very deeply, they serve faithfully, they sacrifice willingly, but sometimes that same strength can become vulnerability. Because strong couples often keep saying yes to another meeting, yes to another assignment, yes to another responsibility, yes to another person's need, another person's who needs their help. Without realizing it, their marriage continually moves lower and lower on the priority list. Not intentionally, simply gradually. The marriage keeps going down on the priority list. Psalm 90 verse 12, NIV, it says, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. King James Version says, so we may apply our hearts to wisdom. See, wisdom includes knowing where our time, our energy, and our attention should be invested per time. 3. Emotional depletion reduces emotional availability. Many people in ministry spend their days pouring into others, encouraging others, supporting others, praying for others, listening to others. By the time they return home, they're emotionally exhausted. Their spouse receives their physical presence, that they are home, but their spouse do not receive their emotional presence. Not because they don't care. It is simply because they are tired, they are burnt out, they are depleted completely. And you see, that depletion affects connection because they can't be available. They are simply exhausted. Mark 6 verse 31, NIV, Jesus says there, "Come with me by yourselves." He was telling his disciples, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Even Jesus recognized the importance of rest, because continually pouring out without renewal eventually affects every area of our lives, including our marriages. It affects our productivity. 4. Public leadership can quietly replace private connection. One of the unique challenges of ministry is that couples often spend significant energy serving publicly. See, people see the preaching, they see the leadership, they see the counseling, they see the effectiveness of the ministry, but private companionship can quietly be receiving less intentional attention without anybody seeing it, without it being obvious. Public impact should never replace private intimacy, private companionship. And I want to tell you this: a healthy ministry and a healthy marriage, a healthy companionship are not enemies. They are not enemies. They are not competing priorities. They actually strengthen one another. It is very important we pay attention to both. 1 Timothy chapter 3, 4-5. Here Paul was admonishing Timothy. He's admonishing us as well today. And Timothy, as the bishop of the church then, needed to appoint leaders. So Paul was telling him that a leader must manage his own family well. And he goes on to tell him that if anyone does not know how to manage his own family, how can he take care of the church of God? God cares about both our ministry and our home. Both of them deserve our intentional stewardship. They both deserve it. 5. Strong marriages need intentional rhythms. This may be the most important point of today's teaching. Because you see, love is important. Love is important. Commitment is also important. Prayer is important. But healthy marriages also need rhythms. Rhythms of communication, rhythms of companionship, rhythms of emotional check-ins, rhythms of rest, rhythms of protected couple time. Why? Because what we do consistently is what shapes the culture of our relationship, the culture of our marriage. Strong marriages are not sustained accidentally. They are sustained intentionally. Hebrews 10:24, it says that let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. We are supposed to spur each other on into good deeds, not to be frustrating one another because it's like we are in ministry, we are doing the work of God. So then when your spouse speaks that you don't spend time with me, we need to spend some time together, you think that they are being unspiritual. It's wrong. It's not so. We're supposed to spur each other on towards good deeds. See, encouragement Connection in the marriage and intentional investments are things we must do. They are things we must practice. And practices is what becomes our rhythm. What we practice continually is what becomes a rhythm. We develop a rhythm out of it. It becomes a habit. Practices become rhythms. And those rhythms are what protect the relationship. They are what protect our marriages. So it is important for us to cultivate healthy rhythms. If you've recognized some of these causes and pressures in your own marriage today, please don't become discouraged. Don't become discouraged. Strong marriages experiencing drift doesn't mean they are failing. It just simply means they need intentional attention. All right, awareness is not bad news. Awareness is good. Awareness is an invitation. It is an invitation to protect companionship more intentionally. It is an invitation to reconnect. It is an invitation to build healthier rhythms. I just want to remind you again that strong marriages are not immune to silent drift. They are not immune to it, but strong marriages can recognize it. They can respond to it and intentionally protect against silent drift. Ministry pressure may explain the drift, but it should never normalize it. Healthy marriages, they grow toward connection intentionally. If today's teaching encouraged you, please share it with another couple in ministry. And if you're looking for more practical resources, you will find them in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you, and remember, you are not alone.